Let me ask you something. How many of you know deep down that you're capable of more success, more confidence, more passion, more impact, but something keeps holding you back? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's doubt, maybe it's the story you've been telling yourself for years. Listen, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is how you see yourself. Change that, change everything. Because the second you shift your identity, the second you decide who you really are, your actions follow. And when your actions change, your results explode. Who's ready to make that shift right now? The way you see yourself dictates everything. Your success, your failures, your relationships, and even the level of happiness you allow yourself to experience. Most people believe that their external circumstances determine their reality, but the truth is, your identity, how you perceive yourself, is the driving force behind every action you take and every result you create. Think about it. If you see yourself as someone who is always struggling, you will unconsciously make choices that reinforce that belief. You will hesitate to take risks, you will talk yourself out of opportunities, and you will sabotage your own progress because deep down, your mind is trying to keep you aligned with your identity. Your brain craves consistency between who you believe you are and how you show up in the world. This is why people who win big often keep winning, and those who constantly struggle seem trapped in an endless cycle. It's not about luck, it's about identity. Imagine two people starting a business. One sees themselves as an unstoppable entrepreneur, someone who finds solutions no matter what. The other sees themselves as a person who has never been good at business. Who do you think will push through obstacles? Who will keep going after the first rejection? Who will find a way to make it work even when things get tough? The answer is obvious. The way they see themselves determines their success before they even begin. Now, where did this self-image come from? For most people, it's a result of conditioning. Messages from parents, teachers, experiences, failures, and the words they've repeated to themselves over the years. Some people were told, "You're not good at math," and they carried that belief their entire lives, never realizing they could have redefined themselves at any moment. Others grew up hearing, "You're a natural leader," and because they believed it, they stepped into leadership roles without hesitation. Here's the key. Your identity is not set in stone. It can be changed. The problem is most people don't even realize they have the power to do this. They live in a mental prison of their own making, completely unaware that the lock was never there to begin with. If you want to change your life, you have to start by changing the way you see yourself. You must break free from the old limiting identity that has kept you stuck and create a new one that aligns with the life you truly want. And it's not just about saying affirmations in the mirror, though that can help. It's about conditioning, rewiring your brain to accept a new identity through repetition, emotion, and action. Let's say you want to become someone who is confident and successful. First, you must start speaking and thinking like that person. Instead of saying, "I'm bad at speaking in public," start saying, "I'm learning to become a great speaker." Instead of saying, "I always fail at relationships," start telling yourself, "I am capable of creating deep, meaningful connections." Words have power. They shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your actions. Second, you must take action. If you want to see yourself as healthy, start behaving like a healthy person. Eat well, exercise, and make choices that reinforce that identity. If you want to be a leader, start leading, even if it's in small ways at first. Every action you take in alignment with your new identity strengthens it. The more you act like the person you want to become, the more your brain accepts that this is who you are. Finally, use emotion to lock in these changes. The reason people hold on to negative identities is because they are emotionally charged. If someone told you you're not smart and it hurt you deeply, that pain reinforced the belief. But you can use the same principle to create empowering beliefs. Feel the excitement, the confidence, the energy of becoming the person you want to be. Celebrate every small win and immerse yourself in experiences that confirm your new identity. At the end of the day, the way you see yourself is either the biggest barrier to your success or the greatest tool to unlock your potential. The choice is yours. Change your self-picture and you will change your life. The beliefs you hold about yourself create either the limits that keep you trapped or the possibilities that set you free. Every action you take or don't take is dictated by the identity you've built over time. The problem is that most people don't consciously choose their beliefs. Instead, they inherit them from parents, teachers, society, and past experiences, often without questioning if they are actually true. Think about someone who believes they are bad at making money. This belief didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was shaped by repeated experiences. Maybe they saw their parents struggle financially, or they failed at a business attempt, and instead of seeing it as a learning opportunity, they decided it was proof that they weren't good with money. Once that belief was in place, it became a filter through which they saw the world. Every financial setback reinforced the idea that they were destined to struggle. Even when opportunities for growth appeared, they either ignored them or sabotaged themselves because deep down, they didn't believe success was possible for them. Now, contrast that with someone who believes they are a wealth creator. They might have started with nothing, but because they see themselves as someone who finds opportunities and builds success, they take action that aligns with that belief. They learn, they invest, they try again after failures, and they persist where others would quit. Their belief opens doors because it drives them to act in ways that create success. The truth is, beliefs are not facts. They are simply thoughts that have been repeated enough times to feel real. But because they are not set in stone, they can be changed. You can decide right now to rewrite the beliefs that are holding you back and replace them with ones that empower you. The first step is awareness. You must identify the beliefs that are shaping your reality. Ask yourself, what do I believe about myself that might be limiting me? Maybe you believe you're not smart enough, not disciplined enough, or not worthy of success, whatever it is. Recognize that this belief is a choice. It is not an unchangeable truth. The second step is to challenge those beliefs. Where did they come from? Are they based on actual evidence, or were they formed through past failures or negative experiences? If you can find even one example that contradicts a limiting belief, it begins to weaken. The final step is replacing limiting beliefs with new ones. This isn't just about thinking positively, it's about reconditioning your mind through repetition, emotion, and action. If you want to believe you're a confident person, start speaking to yourself that way. If you want to believe you're great at sales, start practicing, learning, and taking small wins as proof that you are improving. The more you reinforce a new belief with real experiences, the stronger it becomes. Your beliefs are not just thoughts, they shape your entire experience of life. If you believe something is impossible for you, you will never take the actions needed to achieve it. But the moment you shift your belief to one that empowers you, your actions change, your results change, and your entire life follows. Equally important is recognizing how your emotions drive your behavior. Most people think they make logical decisions, but in reality, almost every decision is emotional first and rational second. If you feel fear, you hesitate. If you feel doubt, you procrastinate. If you feel excited and confident, you take bold action. This means that if you don't control your emotional state, you don't control your behavior. Think about a time when you felt completely confident. Maybe it was a moment when you achieved something big or when you were completely in your element. How did you act in that state? You were probably decisive, clear, and effective. Now, think about a time when you were overwhelmed by fear or doubt. In that moment, did you take action? Or did you freeze, hesitate, or talk yourself out of doing something important? This is why mastering your emotions is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Your emotional state determines your actions, which in turn determine your results. If you want to take consistent, high-impact action in your life, you must learn how to put yourself in a peak state, even when things aren't going your way. One way to do this is through physiology. Your body and mind are connected. If you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with confidence, your emotional state shifts instantly. Try slouching, breathing shallowly, and looking down. Notice how your energy drops. Now stand up straight, take a deep breath, and smile. Even without changing your thoughts, your emotions shift just by changing your posture. Another way to control your emotions is through focus. Whatever you focus on, you feel. If you focus on everything that could go wrong, you will feel fear. If you focus on past failures, you will feel discouraged. But if you focus on the opportunities ahead, the lessons you've learned, and the strengths you've developed, you will feel empowered. Your mind is constantly scanning for what to focus on, and you have the ability to direct it toward things that create confidence rather than fear. Finally, words have power. The language you use affects your emotional state. If you constantly say, "I'm overwhelmed," or "this is impossible," your brain believes it and your body responds with stress. But if you say, "I'm figuring this out," or "this is a challenge I can handle," your brain shifts into problem-solving mode rather than shutting down. At the core of all this is a simple truth. Your beliefs and emotions create your reality. If you want to change your life, you must first change what you believe about yourself and master the emotions that drive your actions. When you do that, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. Your emotions are the driving force behind every action you take. You might think you make decisions based on logic, but in reality, your emotions determine your behavior far more than you realize. Whether you step forward with confidence or hold yourself back in fear, whether you persist through challenges or give up at the first sign of struggle, it all comes down to your emotional state at the moment of decision. If you don't control your emotions, they will control you, dictating your habits, your reactions, and ultimately your results in life. Think about this. Two people receive the exact same opportunity, a chance to start a business, a chance to speak in front of an audience, or even a chance to change their health. One person jumps in with excitement, takes action, and moves forward despite uncertainty. The other hesitates, overthinks, and ultimately does nothing. The difference between them is not intelligence or ability, it's emotion. One person is in a state of confidence, determination, and possibility, while the other is stuck in fear, doubt, and hesitation. Now ask yourself, how often do you let emotions like fear, frustration, or uncertainty dictate your choices? How many times have you known what you needed to do, but allowed your emotional state to hold you back? Maybe you wanted to apply for a new job, but felt unworthy. Maybe you needed to have a tough conversation, but avoided it because it made you uncomfortable. Maybe you had a great idea, but never acted on it because the fear of failure felt too overwhelming. This is why learning to control your emotional state is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, because when you can shift from fear to confidence, from doubt to certainty, and from frustration to motivation, you gain the ability to take the actions necessary to create the life you want. The first key to mastering your emotions is understanding that they are not random. They are patterns. Just like people have habits of action, they also have habits of emotion. Some people have trained themselves without even realizing it to live in a constant state of stress, frustration, or anxiety. Others have conditioned themselves to feel energized, grateful, and optimistic no matter what happens around them. The good news is that emotional patterns can be changed. One of the fastest ways to shift your emotions is through physiology, the way you use your body. Emotion is created through movement. Have you ever noticed that when someone is sad, their body reflects it? They slump their shoulders, breathe shallowly, and speak softly. On the other hand, when someone is excited and confident, their posture is upright, their breathing is deep, and their voice is strong. If you want to change your emotional state instantly, change how you use your body. Stand up, take a deep breath, move with energy, and speak with certainty. Your brain and body are connected. When you move differently, you feel differently. Another way to control your emotions is through focus. Whatever you focus on, you feel. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, what's missing, or what could go wrong, your emotional state will reflect that negativity. But if you focus on solutions, progress, and what's possible, you will feel motivated and empowered. The key is to consciously direct your focus instead of letting it be controlled by fear and doubt. Language also plays a huge role in shaping your emotions. The words you use, both in your thoughts and in your speech, determine how you feel. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm stuck, I'm overwhelmed, or I'm failing, your brain believes it and your body reacts with stress and anxiety. But if you say, I'm figuring this out, I'm learning, or I'm getting stronger every day, you shift your mind into a state of confidence and resilience. Words have power. Be intentional about the language you use to describe your experiences and challenges. Most people believe that emotions happen to them, but the truth is, emotions are a choice. You can train yourself to enter a peak state of energy, focus, and confidence at will, and when you do, you take control of your actions, you no longer let fear hold you back, you no longer hesitate when opportunities arise, you no longer waste time stuck in self-doubt. Instead, you move forward with certainty, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to shape your own reality. If you want to change your life, start by mastering your emotions, because when you control your emotions, you control your actions. And when you control your actions, you control your destiny. From the moment you were born, you started absorbing messages from the world around you. Messages about who you are, what you're capable of, and what's possible for your life. These messages came from your parents, teachers, friends, culture, and experiences. And over time, they shaped the way you see yourself. Some of these messages were empowering, but many were not. Without realizing it, you have been conditioned to think, act, and live within a set of beliefs that may not even be your own. Think back to your childhood. Were you encouraged to believe in yourself, to take risks, and to see failure as a stepping stone to success? Or were you taught to play it safe, avoid mistakes, and seek approval? Maybe you were told you were naturally good at something and you excelled in that area because of it. Or maybe you were labeled as not smart, not athletic, or not creative, and you carried that belief into adulthood. These early experiences laid the foundation for your self-image, and unless you actively work to change it, it continues to shape your life today. The truth is, your identity is not fixed. It has been conditioned. And just as you were conditioned to see yourself in a certain way, you can recondition yourself to create a new, more powerful self-image. The challenge is that most people don't realize how deeply their conditioning runs. They assume that the way they see themselves is just who they are, rather than recognizing it as a mental program that can be rewritten. For example, if you believe you're not a leader, that belief isn't based on reality. It's based on past experiences where you may have felt uncertain or lacked confidence. But that doesn't mean you're incapable of leading. It simply means you haven't conditioned yourself to see leadership as part of your identity. The same is true for confidence, intelligence, financial success, and even happiness. These are not fixed traits. They are habits of thought and behavior that you can develop. The key to reconditioning yourself is awareness and repetition. First, you must become aware of the beliefs and self-perceptions that have been running your life. Pay attention to the thoughts you repeat to yourself, especially in challenging situations. Do you say, I always mess things up? I'm not good at this. I never get lucky. These are not facts. These are patterns that you have reinforced over time. Once you identify these patterns, you must replace them with new empowering beliefs. This is not about blind positivity. It's about rewiring your brain through consistent reinforcement. If you want to see yourself as confident, start acting confidently, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. If you want to see yourself as successful, start making decisions like a successful person. The more you repeat these new behaviors and beliefs, the more your brain accepts them as truth. Another powerful way to recondition your self-image is through environment and association. The people you spend time with and the information you consume play a huge role in shaping your identity. If you are constantly around people who doubt themselves, complain, and settle for less, their mindset will influence yours. But if you surround yourself with people who push themselves, take risks, and expect success, that mentality will begin to shape your own. Choose to be around those who challenge you to grow rather than those who reinforce old limitations. It's also important to recognize that conditioning doesn't just come from external sources. It also comes from the habits and rituals you practice daily. If you start your day with intention, focusing on your goals and reinforcing positive beliefs about yourself, you are conditioning yourself for success. But if you start your day reacting to stress, distractions, and negativity, you are reinforcing patterns that hold you back. The process of reconditioning yourself takes time, but the results are life-changing. The more you reinforce a new identity, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you no longer have to try to be confident, disciplined, or successful. It simply becomes who you are. And once that shift happens, your actions and results will follow. At the end of the day, you are not limited by who you have been. You are only limited by who you believe you are. When you take control of your conditioning, you take control of your future. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every result you create is driven by your internal identity. The way you see yourself at the deepest level. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly acting in alignment with the beliefs you hold about yourself. If you see yourself as a confident person, you will naturally take actions that reinforce that belief. If you see yourself as someone who always struggles, you will find ways to prove that belief true, even if it means sabotaging your own success. The reason for this is simple. Your brain is wired to keep you consistent with your identity. It doesn't matter if your self-position is positive or negative, your subconscious mind will do everything it can to maintain it. This is why people who have struggled with their weight for years often regain the pounds even after losing them. It's why lottery winners who never saw themselves as wealthy end up broke again. It's why someone who believes they are not good at relationships will push people away even when they deeply crave love and connection. The way you see yourself dictates your behavior, and your behavior dictates your results. But here's the truth most people never realize. Your identity is not fixed. It is flexible. You are not just the way you are. You have been programmed to see yourself in a certain way, and just as you were programmed, you can reprogram yourself. You can decide right now to become the kind of person who succeeds, who takes action, who follows through, who creates the life they want. The first step is to recognize where your current identity is limiting you. Think about an area of your life where you feel stuck. Your career, your finances, your health, your relationships. What do you believe about yourself in that area? If you're not earning what you want, do you see yourself as someone who struggles financially? If you can't seem to stay consistent with your goals, do you believe you are undisciplined or unmotivated? These beliefs are not reality. They are stories you have repeated to yourself so many times that they feel like truth. Once you identify these limiting beliefs, the next step is to disrupt them. You do this by creating new, empowering identity statements and reinforcing them until they become your new reality. For example, if you've always seen yourself as someone who lacks confidence, start telling yourself, I am becoming a more confident person every day. If you've believed you are bad with money, replace that thought with, I am learning to manage and grow my wealth. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about shifting your focus and training your brain to accept a new possibility. But words alone are not enough. You must back them up with action. If you want to see yourself as confident, start acting like a confident person, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Speak with certainty, make eye contact, stand tall. If you want to see yourself as disciplined, start keeping small promises to yourself. Wake up at the time you say you will, follow through on commitments, and celebrate each small win. Every time you take an action that aligns with your new identity, you reinforce it. Over time, this becomes who you are. Another powerful way to reshape your identity is by surrounding yourself with people who already embody the traits you want to develop. If you want to be more successful, spend time with people who think big and take action. If you want to be healthier, spend time with people who prioritize fitness and nutrition. The people around you influence your beliefs about what is normal and possible. If you constantly surround yourself with people who settle for less, you will subconsciously adopt their mindset. But if you surround yourself with people who push themselves to grow, their energy will elevate your own. Rewriting your identity also requires breaking free from past conditioning. Many people hold on to an outdated version of themselves because of past failures, mistakes, or negative experiences. But your past does not define your future unless you allow it to. If you have failed before, that does not mean you are a failure. If you have struggled before, that does not mean you are destined to struggle forever. The only thing that matters is the story you tell yourself right now. At the end of the day, the question is simple. Who do you want to become? Not who you have been, not who others have told you to be, but who you truly choose to be. When you decide on that identity and take consistent action to reinforce it, everything in your life will begin to change. Because once you shift your identity, your behavior will follow. And when your behavior changes, your results will too. Your potential is limitless, yet most people live far below what they are truly capable of. The reason isn't a lack of intelligence, talent, or resources. It's the mental barriers they place on themselves. These barriers aren't real. They are illusions created by fear, past failures, and limiting beliefs. When you shift your perspective and remove those self-imposed limits, you unlock a level of power and possibility that most people never tap into. Think about the moments in your life when you felt completely unstoppable. When you took action without hesitation, when you faced challenges head on, when you achieved something you once thought was impossible. What was different about those moments? It wasn't that you suddenly became smarter or more skilled. It was that you entered a state of belief, certainty, and focus. That state is always available to you, but most people don't know how to access it consistently. Instead, they let doubt, fear, and hesitation keep them stuck. The first step to unlocking your full potential is recognizing the patterns that have been holding you back. If you constantly find yourself in the same struggles, whether it's in your career, relationships, finances, or personal growth, it's because you are repeating the same thought patterns, the same emotional responses, and the same behaviors. These patterns create your reality, and if you don't change them, you will keep getting the same results. One of the biggest obstacles people face is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. Fear is not a real barrier. It's a mental construct designed to keep you in your comfort zone. But here's the truth. Everything you want exists outside of your comfort zone. Growth only happens when you are willing to step into uncertainty, to take risks, and to push through discomfort. If you avoid challenges because they feel uncomfortable, you are also avoiding your greatest opportunities for success. The key to overcoming fear is to take action before you feel ready. Most people wait until they feel confident before they take action, but confidence doesn't come first. Action creates confidence. The more you take action despite fear, the more you realize that fear is just an illusion. You begin to see that failure isn't something to avoid, it's part of the learning process. Every time you push past your fear and take action, you rewire your brain to become stronger, more resilient, and more capable. Another major factor that limits people's potential is their internal dialogue. The way you speak to yourself shapes your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, or I always fail, you are reinforcing a self-image that keeps you stuck. But if you start telling yourself, I am capable, I am learning and growing, and I create my own success, you begin to shift your identity and your actions follow. The words you use matter. Choose them wisely. Your environment also plays a massive role in unlocking your potential. If you are surrounded by people who doubt themselves, complain, and settle for mediocrity, their mindset will influence you. But if you surround yourself with people who push themselves, take risks, and think big, their energy will elevate you. You become like the people you spend the most time with, so choose your environment carefully. Beyond mindset, unlocking your full potential also requires discipline and consistency. Talent alone does not create success. Habits do. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who show up every day, do the work, and refuse to quit when things get tough. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward. If you commit to taking consistent action toward your goals, you will achieve results far beyond what you thought was possible. Finally, one of the most powerful ways to unlock your full potential is to create a vision for your life that is bigger than your current reality. If your goals don't excite and challenge you, they won't inspire you to take action. Dream big, set goals that force you to grow into the person you are meant to be, and then take massive action every single day to turn those dreams into reality. You are capable of more than you can imagine. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the story you tell yourself about what is possible. Change your story, take action, and watch how your entire world transforms.